So, imagine this: a journalist's microphone just lying there, silent, in an empty newsroom. It sort of makes you wonder, how did we get to a point where press freedom is basically at its lowest in history?
Yeah, and just to set the scene, it's May 4th, 2025 today, and the numbers are, well, pretty striking. The new Global Press Freedom Index, it's at its lowest ever. The world's average score is 54.7 out of 100. That's the first time it's been called difficult. Ellie, what's actually behind this drop?
It's not just about politics anymore, Tim. The economic side is actually the biggest new threat. The index says 160 out of 180 countries are struggling to keep their news outlets afloat. That's what? Almost 90%? Economic fragility is really squeezing independent media.
So we're seeing newsrooms disappear, not because someone's shutting them down directly, but because they just, can't pay the bills.
Exactly. Last year, a third of the countries in the index lost media outlets just to financial collapse. And when those outlets go under, the reporters, the ones who actually hold power to account, they're out of work too. Kyrgyzstan's Kloop is a good example. They're facing lawsuits, state harassment, but they keep going. What happens if they run out of money?
And this isn't just in, isolated cases. Africa, for example, Guinea dropped 25 spots after its most recent coup. The military just cut off entire news networks and froze their funding. That's a huge blow.
It's happening elsewhere too. In Europe, for instance, Portugal lost its good press freedom rating. Economic instability, political interference, it all adds up. And then Hungary, the media there is almost entirely owned by oligarchs close to the government. Can you really call that press freedom?
When one group controls almost everything, it's tough to see how independent journalism stands a chance. But, on the other hand, the UK has made some progress with these anti-SLAPP laws. Those are laws to stop abusive lawsuits meant to silence journalists. But is that actually enough to reverse this bigger decline?
Probably not by itself. Take the Americas. The US has its own crisis. There are these news deserts now. About 65 million Americans don't have reliable local news anymore. Most of the ad money goes to tech platforms, not newspapers or TV stations. I mean, how do you stay informed about your neighborhood if your local paper disappears?
Yeah, and that has this ripple effect. When people lose access to local news, accountability goes down, misinformation goes up, democracy gets weaker. So, what's being done? Are there any real solutions?
There are some ideas floating around. Reporters Without Borders wants G7 countries to create media bailout funds. Basically, direct subsidies to keep investigative reporting going, kind of like what some Nordic countries already do. They're also pushing for anti-monopoly rules, so one company can't control all the news in a country.
Okay, so there's policy-level stuff. But what about, on the ground? Any grassroots efforts worth mentioning?
Uruguay's actually running these UNESCO-backed forums on journalist safety. They bring together reporters, law enforcement, civil society, so everyone can share strategies and protect press workers. And if you're listening and want to help, supporting independent outlets like ProPublica or Zenger Group really matters. They live on donations and subscriptions, not ads or political money.
And then there's technology. UNESCO's been exploring AI-driven tools to spot disinformation. But they're also warning, editorial independence has to be protected. If AI starts censoring the news, is that really any better than having the government do it?
Yeah, it's a tricky line to walk, isn't it? I mean, as Anne Bocandé from RSF put it, without economic independence, there's no free press, just propaganda. It's worth asking, do we want a world where the only stories we hear are the ones someone pays to tell?
So today, we've looked at how economic instability, political crackdowns, and new tech challenges are all making it harder for journalists to do their jobs and for us to actually get reliable news.
It's not a simple fix, but awareness is a start. If you can, support independent journalism. And always ask, who's telling your news and why?
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon. Until then, stay curious and stay informed.
This was Press Freedom in Freefall. Thanks for listening.